NASCAR just got exposed in the biggest scandal ever. Secret emails leaked, top executives caught red-handed calling legendary team owners dumbass rednecks, and plotting to destroy their competition. Michael Jordan's suing. Emails are everywhere, and the racing world is going insane. This is more drama than any Netflix show. Backstabbing, lies, and secrets that were never supposed to get out.
Ryan Blaney has won his way into the championship.
A great day for Kyle Larson.
Seventh career win in his 100th.
Joey Logano takes the checkered flag.
Hell yeah, boys!
Let's set the stage here. Michael Jordan, yes, the Michael Jordan owns a NASCAR team called 2311 Racing. Along with Front Row Motorsports, they decided to sue NASCAR. The charge, monopolistic practices. That's legal talk for you've got way too much power and you're using that control unfairly. What do they want? More money for the teams. Simple as that. The teams feel like NASCAR keeps too much in the pie while they're doing all the racing, taking all the risks, and spending millions to compete every single week. Now, here's where things were supposed to go. Settle everything behind closed doors, shake hands, move forward. That's how big corporations usually handle these things. Keep the dirty laundry hidden, but that's not what happened. They couldn't agree, the negotiations fell apart, so now this case heads to court in December, and suddenly everything becomes public record. And when those records became public, oh boy, the racing world exploded. Judge Bell, who's overseeing this case, made a statement that turned out to be prophetic. He looked at everyone involved and said, "So you all want to burn the sport down, do you? You're going to do it." At the time, people thought he was being dramatic, but turns out he was absolutely right. Here's where the story goes from interesting to absolutely insane. Bob Procras, a well-known NASCAR journalist, started posting these leaked email exchanges on his timeline. These aren't just any emails, these are conversations between top NASCAR executives, and they're all now available for public viewing because of the lawsuit discovery process. Steve Phelps was the president of NASCAR. He still works there in a high-level position. And in these emails, he wrote something that nobody can believe actually happened. He said Richard Childress, one of the biggest team owners in NASCAR history, needs to be taken out back and flogged because he's a dumbass redneck. Read that again. A top NASCAR executive called Richard Childress, the man who owned Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s legendary number 3 car, a dumbass redneck who deserves to be flogged. The disrespect there goes beyond professional disagreement. That's personal. That's venomous. And now it's out there for the entire world to see. Richard Childress built his empire from nothing. The man started racing himself, became a team owner, and turned his operation into one of the most successful in NASCAR history. He's worth millions. He owns a vineyard where people can book weddings and buy wine. His jeans are ironed. He carries himself with class. Whether someone wants to call him a redneck or not, he's a self-made businessman who commands respect. But NASCAR executives apparently didn't see things that way, and now everyone knows exactly what they thought about one of their own team owners. Now, let's talk about SRX, because this part of the story reveals just how threatened NASCAR felt by competition, even small-scale competition. SRX stands for Superstar Racing Experience. Ray Abraham came up with the concept and Tony Stewart helped run the show. The premise was brilliant: take superstar drivers from different racing series, bring them to local, short tracks, and let them race identical cars. We're talking about tracks that seat maybe 5,000 to 10,000 people. Small venues, Wednesday or Thursday night events are broadcast on CBS. The driver lineup mixed NASCAR legends with stars from other series: Marco Andretti from IndyCar, Tony Kanaan from IndyCar, and NASCAR drivers like Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, and others. The races were fun, competitive, and brought national attention to small local tracks that rarely got that kind of spotlight. Now here's the thing. SRX was never a legitimate threat to NASCAR. The scale was completely different. NASCAR runs 36 Cup Series races at massive speedways with over 100,000 seats. SRX ran a handful of races at tiny tracks. There's no comparison in terms of size, money, or reach, but NASCAR didn't see things that way. Their leaked emails show that NASCAR executives were absolutely furious about SRX. Steve Phelps, Steve O'Donnell, Ben Kennedy, and others while exchanging messages that reveal a level of hostility that seems completely disproportionate to the actual situation. NASCAR's position went something like this. We made these drivers who they are today, they owe everything to NASCAR. And now they're going out there racing at tracks with no safer barriers, no soft walls, risking their safety and threatening our business. Let's break that down. Yes, NASCAR helped make these drivers famous, that's fair. And yes, safety concerns at small tracks are legitimate. Local short tracks don't have the same safety infrastructure as major NASCAR speedways. But then the emails get darker. NASCAR executives start talking about SRX like it's an enemy that needs to be destroyed. They point out that SRX races were getting good TV ratings, sometimes better than NASCAR's Truck Series and Xfinity Series. That clearly bothered them. One executive wrote something along the lines of "we need to stamp them out," and another said, "we've got to be gone with SRX." Think about what that means. NASCAR, the biggest stock car racing organization in the world, felt so threatened by a small summer racing series that it actively discussed strategies to eliminate the competition. Here's where the story gets even more interesting. The emails reveal NASCAR was worried about SRX potentially running races at historic tracks like North Wilkesboro. North Wilkesboro Speedway has deep roots in NASCAR history. The track fell into despair and sat abandoned for years. Then, Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Marcus Smith worked together to revive the facility. They cleaned up the track, restored it, and brought NASCAR racing back to North Wilkesboro in 2023. Racing fans were thrilled to see this historic venue come back to life, but according to the leaked emails, NASCAR had an ulterior motive. Executives discussed making sure NASCAR got back to tracks like North Wilkesboro and Bowman Gray before SRX could get there. One executive actually wrote, "Don't worry, we're going to be back at Wilkesboro and Bowman Gray before SRX get a chance to go there." That's not restoration for the love of racing history, that's strategic blocking of potential competition. NASCAR rushed to secure these historic venues not primarily because they wanted to race there, but because they wanted to make sure SRX couldn't race there. The competitive mindset that goes way beyond healthy business strategy. That's territorial control bordering on monopolistic behavior, which ironically is exactly what the lawsuit accuses NASCAR of doing. Now, let's connect all these dots because there's a pattern here that reveals something troubling about how NASCAR operates behind the scenes. Remember the incident at the Brickyard? Austin Hill and the number 21 car got into Eric Almirola during a race. Afterwards, the media surrounded Richard Childress asking for comment. His response? "Oh, we're just a redneck team, we don't know anything." That comment seemed odd at the time. Why would Richard Childress, a sophisticated businessman, describe his team that way? Now we know. Someone must have told him about those leaked emails where Steve Phelps called him a dumbass redneck. Richard was throwing the insult back in their faces, letting everyone know he knew what NASCAR executives really thought about it. That's the behavior of someone who's been disrespected and wants the world to know what's really happening behind closed doors. Judge Bell's warning about burning down the sport suddenly makes perfect sense. These leaked emails don't just embarrass NASCAR executives, they reveal a culture of disrespect toward team owners, hostility toward any form of competition, and a corporate attitude that treats racing as territory to be controlled rather than a sport to be grown. Team owners reading these emails now know exactly what NASCAR thinks about them. Sponsors see the dysfunction, fans watch the drama unfold and wonder what's really happening in the sport they love. So, what do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and subscribe because this story definitely isn't over yet.